Right now, as you are listening to these words, it is okay to pause, to breathe gently, and to know that you are not broken, you are not failing, and you are not alone, because overthinking is not a flaw, but a sign of a mind that has been trying very hard to protect you, and in this moment, you are safe enough to rest, to soften, and to slowly return to a sense of inner ease and connection. Overthinking often feels like the mind is running faster than the heart can keep up with, replaying conversations, imagining future outcomes, revisiting past moments, and searching endlessly for certainty in a world that rarely offers it. And while this can feel exhausting and overwhelming, it is important to remember that the mind learned this pattern for a reason, often as a way to stay alert, prepared, and in control, even when control was never truly possible. Dr. Zenrich often speaks about how the mind's tendency to overthink is not an enemy to be defeated, but a signal to be understood with patience and compassion. Because when we respond to our thoughts with gentleness instead of resistance, the nervous system begins to relax, and calm becomes more accessible. As you continue listening, allow these words to wash over you without effort, without needing to remember or analyze anything, simply noticing how your body feels right now. Noticing the weight of your breath, the subtle rise and fall of your chest, and the simple fact that you are here, present and breathing, which is already enough. Overthinking often pulls attention away from the present moment and into imagined scenarios that have not happened yet or cannot be changed. And while the mind may believe it is helping by preparing for every possibility, the body experiences this as constant alertness, tension, and fatigue. Gently bringing awareness back to the present does not require force or discipline. It can begin with something as simple as noticing the temperature of the air on your skin or the quiet sounds around you, allowing the mind to rest in what is real instead of what is imagined. When thoughts arise, and they will, there is no need to push them away or judge them, because judgment only adds another layer of mental noise. Instead, you can practice acknowledging each thought like a passing cloud, noticing it without following it, and letting it drift by in its own time. Dr. Zenrich describes this as creating space around thoughts rather than becoming trapped inside them. And in that space, emotional balance slowly returns. Overthinking is often fueled by fear of making mistakes, fear of disappointing others, or fear of losing control. And while these fears can feel very real, they do not define your worth or your future. You are allowed to be human, to learn as you go, and to trust that you can handle challenges as they come, rather than trying to solve everything in advance. When the mind starts racing, it can help to gently ground yourself through the body, perhaps by placing a hand over your heart or your stomach and noticing the warmth and steady rhythm beneath your palm, reminding yourself that your body knows how to regulate and settle when given the chance. Simple breathing can also be a powerful support, not in a rigid or technical way, but in a soft, natural rhythm. Inhaling slowly through the nose and exhaling through the mouth, allowing the exhale to be slightly longer, signaling safety to the nervous system. Over time, these small moments of awareness add up, teaching the mind that it does not need to stay on high alert all the time. Emotional balance is not about never feeling anxious or stressed, but about learning how to return to a baseline of calm after being activated. And this is a skill that can be developed gently, without pressure. Dr. Zenrich often emphasizes that consistency matters more than intensity, and that small daily habits, practiced with kindness, are far more effective than trying to force dramatic change. Overthinking can also interfere with sleep, as the quiet of nighttime gives the mind more space to wander, replay, and worry. But creating a calming evening routine can help signal to your body that it is safe to rest. Dimming lights, reducing stimulating content, and allowing yourself a period of wind-down time before bed can make a meaningful difference, even if sleep does not improve immediately. If thoughts arise as you lie down, instead of engaging with them, you might imagine placing them on a shelf for the night, trusting that you can return to them tomorrow if needed, and giving yourself permission to rest. Rest is not a reward for productivity. It is a basic human need, and honoring it supports emotional resilience and mental clarity. Throughout the day, practicing moments of intentional pause can help prevent overthinking from building up, whether that is stepping outside for fresh air, stretching gently, or simply taking a few mindful breaths between tasks. These pauses remind the mind that it does not need to rush, and that life can unfold one moment at a time. Compassion toward yourself is essential in this process, especially when you notice old patterns returning, because progress is rarely linear, and setbacks do not mean failure. Speaking to yourself with the same kindness you would offer a close friend can soften inner tension and reduce the urge to over. If at any point stress or anxiety feels overwhelming or unmanageable, reaching out to a qualified mental health professional can provide additional support and guidance. And doing so is a sign of strength, not weakness. You deserve support, understanding, and care, both from others and from yourself. As you continue listening, allow yourself to absorb the idea that calm is not something you have to chase or earn. It is something that emerges naturally when you feel safe, supported, and present. The mind may still wander at times, but each gentle return to the present is a victory, a quiet affirmation that you are learning to trust yourself and your experience. Overthinking does not disappear overnight, but with patience, awareness, and compassion, its grip can loosen, making room for clarity, peace, and emotional balance to grow. You are allowed to take this journey at your own pace, honoring where you are right now, knowing that every small step to awareness is meaningful. And that calm is not a distant destination, but a state that can be touched moment by moment, even now, even here within the gentle rhythm of your breath and the steady presence of your own being calm. Calm can feel fragile at times, like something that slips away the moment you try to hold on to it. Yet it is actually more resilient than you might think, because it lives beneath the surface of thought, waiting patiently for the noise to soften so it can be felt again. As you continue to listen, allow yourself to settle into the understanding that overthinking is not a personal weakness, but a learned habit, one that can gently be reshaped with awareness and care. The mind often overthinks because it believes that constant analysis will prevent pain or mistakes, but in reality, it often creates more tension than protection, keeping the body in a state of quiet vigilance. Dr. Zenrich often explains that when we stop trying to control every thought and instead focus on creating a sense of internal safety, the mind naturally begins to slow down. Internal safety does not come from having all the answers. It comes from trusting that you can cope with uncertainty, that you can respond rather than react, and that you are capable of handling whatever arises one step at a time. This trust can be built slowly through small, compassionate practices woven into everyday life. One of the most helpful shifts is learning to notice when thinking turns into when thoughts move from problem solving into looping, repeating, and draining energy. In those moments, rather than criticizing yourself, you can gently acknowledge what is happening, perhaps silently saying to yourself that this is overthinking, and that you are allowed to pause. That pause, even if it lasts only a few seconds, creates a break in the cycle, offering the nervous system a chance to reset. Bringing attention back to the body can be especially grounding, because the body exists in the present moment, unlike the mind, which often drifts into the past or future. You might notice the sensation of your feet on the floor, the support beneath you, or the simple act of breathing in and out, allowing each breath to anchor you more deeply into now. Over time, this practice teaches the mind that it does not need to constantly scan for threats, because you are here, aware, and capable. Emotional balance also grows when you allow yourself to feel emotions without immediately trying to analyze or fix them. Feelings are temporary experiences, not problems to solve, and when they are given space to move through you, they often soften on their own. Overthinking often tries to label, judge, or predict emotions. But true calm comes from allowing emotions to be felt as sensations, waves that rise and fall. Dr. Zenrich reminds us that emotions are messengers, not enemies, and when we listen to them with curiosity rather than fear, they lose their intensity. Creating emotional balance also involves setting gentle boundaries with your thoughts, deciding when it is helpful to think and when it is time to rest. This might mean designating certain times of day for reflection or planning, and giving yourself permission to let go of mental work outside those times. At night especially, giving the mind a clear signal that thinking time is over can support better sleep. This signal does not need to be strict or rigid. It can be as simple as a calming ritual, perhaps a warm shower, soft lighting, or a few moments of slow breathing before bed. As you prepare for sleep, it can help to remind yourself that rest is productive in its own way, supporting clarity, emotional regulation, and resilience. If thoughts arise as you lie down, instead of engaging with them, you can gently return your attention to the sensation of your breath or the comfort of your bed, allowing the body to lead the way into rest. Even if sleep takes time, resting the body and calming the nervous system is still beneficial. During the day, Practicing mindfulness in ordinary activities can reduce the overall load on the mind, making overthinking less intense. This might look like fully noticing the taste of your food, the feeling of water on your hands, or the rhythm of walking. Moments where attention is anchored in experience rather than thought. These moments of presence accumulate, gradually teaching the mind that it is safe to slow down. Self-compassion plays a central role in this process, especially when old patterns resurface. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, you can view them as opportunities to practice kindness, reminding yourself that change is not linear and that patience is part of healing. Speaking to yourself gently, with understanding rather than criticism, can significantly reduce mental tension. Overthinking thrives in an environment of pressure and self-judgment, but it softens in the presence of acceptance and warmth. Dr. Zenrich often emphasizes that calm is not about eliminating thoughts, but about changing your relationship with them. Learning to observe rather than obey. As you strengthen this relationship, you may notice more moments of clarity, more ease in decision-making, and a deeper sense of trust in yourself. If at any point your stress or anxiety feels overwhelming, seeking support from a qualified mental health professional can offer guidance and reassurance, and there is no shame in reaching out for help. Support can provide tools, perspective, and a sense of connection that makes the journey feel less heavy. As you continue listening, allow the idea to settle that you do not need to fix yourself, because you are not broken. You are learning, adapting, and growing, and each moment of awareness is a step toward greater balance. Calm is not a permanent state, but a practice, something you can return to again and again, even on difficult days. With time, patience, and gentle attention, overthinking can lose its hold, creating space for rest, presence, and a quieter, more grounded experience of life. Peace. Peace is not something that arrives only when life becomes quiet or perfect. It is something that can be gently cultivated, even in the middle of uncertainty. Even when thoughts still come and go, and even when the mind occasionally drifts back into old patterns. As you continue listening, allow yourself to release the expectation that overthinking must completely disappear in order for calm to exist. Because calm and thoughts can coexist when you no longer feel controlled by them. Dr. Zenrich often shares that true calm comes from learning how to stay grounded while thoughts move through you. Much like standing still while clouds pass across the sky, noticing them without needing to chase or change them. When you begin to trust that thoughts are temporary experiences rather than urgent commands, a deep sense of relief can emerge. This trust grows through repeated moments of awareness, moments when you choose presence over rumination, softness over struggle, and compassion over overthinking often tries to predict outcomes as a way to feel safe. Yet safety is felt not in certainty, but in your ability to respond with care and flexibility. You do not need to have everything figured out right now, and you never have to solve your entire life in your head. Allowing yourself to take life one step at a time can significantly reduce mental pressure, reminding you that this moment is manageable, even if others feel unclear. Emotional balance also deepens when you give yourself permission to slow down emotionally, to notice when you are pushing yourself too hard, and to rest before exhaustion takes over. Slowing down is not falling behind. It is choosing sustainability, and it allows the nervous system to return to a more balanced state. Gentle movement, fresh air, and moments of quiet reflection can all support this balance. Not as tasks to complete, but as gifts you offer yourself. Sleep, too, plays a vital role in calming an overactive mind. And improving sleep often begins with how you treat yourself during the day. When you allow space for rest, reduce self-pressure, and acknowledge your limits, the body feels safer, letting go at night. Creating a sense of predictability and comfort in your evenings can help the mind transition out of problem-solving mode, making rest feel more accessible. If worries surface before sleep, you can gently remind yourself that nighttime is for rest, not resolution, and that clarity often comes more easily after sleep. Over time, this reassurance can become a comforting inner voice, guiding you toward rest rather than resistance. Throughout this journey, it is important to remember that seeking support is a healthy and proactive choice, especially if stress or anxiety ever feels overwhelming or difficult to manage alone. Talking with a qualified mental health professional can provide understanding, tools, and reassurance, and it does not mean you have failed. It means you value your well-being. You deserve care, patience, and understanding as you learn to navigate your inner world with greater ease. As you listen to these final moments, allow yourself to feel appreciation for your willingness to slow down and reflect, because awareness itself is a powerful step toward calm. You are learning to listen to your mind without being consumed by it, to feel your emotions without being overwhelmed, and to rest without guilt. Overthinking may still visit from time to time, but it does not have to dominate your inner space. With gentle practice, kindness, and consistency, you can create an inner environment that feels safer, quieter, and more supportive. You are not rushing toward an end goal. You are building a relationship with yourself, one grounded in trust and patience. In this relationship, calm becomes more familiar, balance more natural, and peace more accessible. Even in small moments, even on ordinary days, and even now. As you carry these words with you, remember that calm is not something you must earn through perfection or constant effort. It is something that grows naturally when you treat yourself with patience, understanding, and care. Every time you pause, instead of overthinking. Every time you breathe instead of rushing. And every time you choose kindness toward yourself, you are strengthening a sense of inner safety that supports emotional balance and peace. You are allowed to move slowly, to rest when you need to, and to trust that you are doing enough simply by showing up for yourself. Let this be a gentle reminder that your mind can learn to soften, your body can learn to relax, and your life can feel lighter, one moment at a time. With compassion, awareness, and small daily choices, calm can become a familiar place you return to again and again, guiding you toward a steadier, more grounded, and more hopeful way of living.